Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another interactive, educative, and informative session with JuCE Africa. Quickly, we would just like to inform everyone that you can mute your mic when you want to speak. We'll give you the opportunity. Then also, it will be, please do well to introduce yourself in the comment section, your name, your school, your class. If you're a parent, please indicate that you're a parent. And if you're a student, indicate you're a student. And we would recognize you as it comes in. So welcome everyone once again, to everyone present. And today I will be your host. My name is Salome Isaiah. I'm the Administrative and Program Manager for JuCE Africa. So why are we here? That's one important question we all have to ask ourselves. And there is one frequently question children are being asked. What do you want to be when you grow up? This is a question that at different levels and at different circumstances or at different scenarios where you ask children, their answers may change. Oh, they may be fascinated about a particular thing at this time and say, oh, this is what I want to be. And you ask them in another time or in different environment, they'll say, oh, this is what I want to be. So it is something that we have to be intentional about. You have to know what these children want, and we can only do that when there is early guidance. And we at JuCE, we are very passionate about the career development of these young ones. And that is why we have our programs tailored, important topics, programs tailored to speak to some of these areas. At the end of every JuCE session, it is expected that a child or every child is one step closer to clarity of purpose. We are very intentional about building the career path of children, exposing them to a lot of opportunity, exposing them to a lot of career, ensuring that they know what they want to be and start early enough to define that path. And that is why we are here at JuCE. Some of our programs have been tailored in a way to speak to so many of these things, this career deficit, career exposure deficits, where aside the traditional courses, we give them more insights about what can be done, even with those traditional courses, and more developing courses, and more globally recognized courses that will help them in the future to be better people, to make meaningful contributions to their environment and the nation at large. So we bring in young professionals they can relate to expose them to a lot of career exposure. And that's why we have our career spotlight and presentation and fireside sessions. Also, we have the mentorship session that speaks to mentorship. A lot of children are not being mentored. A lot of people do not have access to mentorship. So this is we bringing these young ones close to young professionals in their areas of interest, where they can guide them or provide them with the necessary information and knowledge they need. So we are very intentional about the children. We are very intentional about the teenagers. And that is why we have the solution to some of these deficits. Also, we have the university and college preparation programs, where we help children, expose them to a lot of opportunities, expose them to a lot of things they know and we know that will help them in preparing for the university phase. And that's why we also have the preparation program at JuCE Africa. So all these are tailored to help children define their career paths and define their future with purpose and intentionality. And as always, our vision is to see where children's career paths are intentionally thought, developed, and chosen. And that's why we expose many young children to many career paths as possible. And today will not be left out. Today is another day for another interesting topic. In fact, I am well seated prepared with my Bible and pen to listen through, to hear her speak. Maybe I may pick up one or two language or one or two words that may pique my interest to learn another language. So please, I want everyone to sit tight, listen, get your writing materials, and jot things down. We will have sessions where we could ask our questions. So moving forward, how do you become a part of JuCE? How do you come in? It's very important that you support us. We can't do it all alone. And that's why we have our events every 2 weeks, every 2 Saturdays in a week. You can attend the events, you can connect with our social media and share our content on your handles to help us reach our target audience. You can also become a member. There are different ways of being a member. You can do it by sharing your expertise with us in the form of mentorship. You can help us to reach out to more teenagers. You can be our sponsor. You can be our career partner. There are a lot of ways you can come in. And all boils down to how do you do it? You can always reach out to us. At the end of the session, we would share, you will see our social media handles, and you will also see our contact information where you can reach out to us, and we know how to take it up from there. But most importantly, tell others about JuCE. It is important. I cannot do it alone. You tell your network, people around, this is what JuCE does. This is what JuCE does. And at the end of the day, it is important you connect a teenager to JuCE. When you connect a teenager to JuCE, the teenager has the opportunity to go through some of the sessions recorded, to participate actively in the current program and learn one or two things. We are very confident that at the end of every session, the child is not the same. There is one lesson the child would have picked up. There is one new information the child would have known, which will help the child now and in future. So it's very important that you work with us to make our mission and vision achievable. So without wasting much of your time, we will delve into the reason why we are here today. Today is something different, uniquely different. It's talking about a very young, passionate lady. She is one that I want to sit down and listen to how she got into this journey. So I know that you too, you are also ready to hear from her. And I'll be introducing her. Our keynote speaker today is no other person than Frances Mary Chizitalu Eze. I pray I got the Chizitalu correct. Please, Frances, you can correct me when you come on. So Frances is a translator. Frances Mary is a translator. She has a degree in law. She is one that is passionate about languages and international relations. She's fluent in English and Mandarin. And she's a beginner in French. So she's also learning French. So you see that her journey to become one who knows or use different languages is something worth learning from. It's something inspiring. So today she will take us through her journey, or how she got into the translation space, what she did to get into the translation space, and a lot of things. She'll be sharing her experiences with us. And I know that at the end of the day, we would want to learn one other language. I am super, super certain that she would. So we are going to bring her on board. I know she has sent in her bio, but I want her to speak. I want her to explain to us. I want her to share her experience with us. So, Frances, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please, you will turn on your video so that they can see you.
Okay, yeah. Please, can everybody see me and hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
I can see you. I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Frances Mary Tizitano, easy, right? So I studied law at University of Lagos. I recently graduated just in August. Well, I started learning Mandarin sometime in 2020 during the whole COVID because I loved the language. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad was always buying these Jackie Chan movies, talking about the tuxedo, the police story, Rush Hour, and I picked interest from there. So that's how I started. And as God would have it, in 2022, I landed my first gig, started working as a translator before I started doing freelance. Um, it's something I really like. I love languages. I wouldn't even lie. My cousins, they speak German, they speak Spanish, they're very fluent in Italian. So it's something I think runs in the family. But I started learning Mandarin because there are lots of economic opportunities to it, and that's what we are here for. So without
Okay.
further ado, we might just get into it.
The
Okay.
business.
Please, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can. You can.
Please hold on.
Frances, while you're setting up, I would just like to make two quick points. First of all, I see that Dancehall Student Hostel has just joined, so welcome, students from Dancehall. Um, and I hope this session is interesting slash exciting to you. In case you missed it at the beginning, we're going to be speaking about the, importance of getting a second or third language on board and the type of doors that can open to you. And that's what Frances Mary will be talking to us about. And then secondly, just to apologize, Frances, we usually have a few more students on the call, but today there happens to be some um, administrative issues, so we're trying to handle it. But the session is recorded, as you know, and it will be on our YouTube page, and many students will have access to it after. So feel encouraged, while you're here, that there will be, quite a few people who this will be of great benefit to. So thank you. When you're ready, you can start, please.
Okay, please give me a few moments. Okay,
Okay.
so we'll start. Okay.
Okay.
So my journey into translation, inspiring new paths in language and culture by me. So this is a table of contents. We're first of all going to start with icebreakers to get everybody into the mood. So who can guess the language? Konnichiwa. What language is this?
Is it Chinese?
Japanese.
No, no. Who else, please?
Japanese?
Yes, Japanese. Yes, yes, yes.
I think we should even, okay, please, would Ada and I would not even try it. Let's leave it to the others to guess.
Okay, okay. Please,
Yes.
can you help them unmute their mic so that they
Yes,
can
please.
speak?
Yeah, I've asked people to unmute. So for this interactive session, please
So
feel
please,
free to unmute
um,
your mic and guess,
and guess, please.
or
We
guess
want
in the
to
chat.
want your active participation in this. Thank you.
Okay. What about ni hao? Who can guess what language it is?
Mm.
Ni hao.
Is anybody guessing?
Someone
Okay, someone
from
from, okay.
Danso said Japanese. So,
Okay.
are they correct? Is someone else going to guess? Feel free to guess in the chat as
Please
well.
guess anyone. Japanese? No,
Me, I
no.
want to guess so, but apparently I'm disqualified.
Tega, would you like to
So
try?
someone
Okay,
said Chinese. So
Yes, 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 yes,
Anessa.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
Anessa got it.
okay.
yes.
Well,
Okay, let's take the last one. Annyeonghaseyo. What language is that?
Hmm.
So who
Who is
I had
guessing?
guessed that I don't know this one.
Okay.
Say Japanese. No, konnichiwa is Japanese.
Students from
Someone said,
Danville said South
okay.
Korean. Is it South Korean?
Korean, yes, 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 yes.
Oh.
Amazing. Okay.
Okay, second icebreaker before we delve into business of the day. If you could learn a language worldwide, which would you choose and why?
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm thinking,
Yeah, feel free to drop your answers in the chat. If you could learn
if you,
any language, which would you choose or why?
hmm.
I think,
I'm waiting.
ooh,
Okay.
Russian. Ooh.
someone said Russian.
You love Russian so much, and it's a very. Do you know the funny thing? I actually wanted to start learning Russian after Mandarin.
Oh,
But the way they speak, I'm like, maybe it's something long term because I mean it's in the East and I love Eastern languages. But then I don't know. I'm looking at the economic factor too. What do I stand to gain in the future? Will I find jobs? Something like that. Maybe
okay.
for fun I might.
Okay.
German, yay! Okay, okay, okay.
Russian
I knew
is just
I know few German words like Guten Tag, Guten Morgen, like just greetings basically.
Hmm.
Is anybody else going to try?
Yeah,
Let's see.
try. It mustn't be foreign languages, so okay. Other.
Okay, Spanish. I think como estas. Is that part?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get
Okay.
going. Thank you so much because it's one of the university's spoken languages. Yes,
Spoken
yes,
languages.
I figured that lots of younglings will actually want to learn Korean because of K-pop and Spanish because it has this romantic tinge to it. Okay, so moving on.
Please just give me 1 minute. I'm going to mute everyone and then ask you to unmute again, just so that if people enter, they don't interrupt the call. Yeah? But just
Okay.
1 quick minute. Thank you everyone for participating in the session today, and welcome to the students from Center for Memories. It appears that they've joined us. Thank you, Nkem, for making that happen. Okay, I've asked you to unmute if that's okay. Salome, I'm asking you to unmute as well, so you coordinate in case there's anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nkem, you
I'm
are
unmuted.
muted.
Please tell me you can hear me and see me,
Yes, we
please.
can hear you, Francis.
Hear you,
We can.
Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you, Francis. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, hello. I mean, I've done the introduction. So, anyhow, Dajaha, Wajia Francis Mary Chizitalu is it? So, my goal for this session is to inspire children and parents to explore diverse career paths, right? Because it's the 21st century. People are making money being content writer, social media managers, product designers. You do not need to follow the conventional path. Although I would advise, you go to school and get your certificate and explore whatever you want to explore, even while in school and after school, right? So moving on, how did it all start? As a kid, like I mentioned earlier, I loved watching movies with my sisters. DVD. I don't know if this Gen Alpha will understand it, but we always had these cassettes that you insert into a DVD player where you watch movies. So I remember my favorite. It was Rush Hour, The Tuxedo, Police Story. There's one particular one I can't remember, but they were on a ship. I still want the particular one till date. So all these things, I don't think my dad knows what he was doing. He was just buying things to entertain us. But it helped me actually build an interest in it and look at where we are today. So it's safe to say that things that parents actually do when kids are young actually helps shape their future directly or indirectly. And then music, I listen to their music once in a while. My dad's phone, we search different types of things on Wikipedia. You're going on Google to do this. So I came across one or two and it really helps. Then COVID-19, we said I was at home during that period. I remember like March to December, and I was quite jobless, not doing anything with my life apart from working out. So I started taking online classes on Coursera. I took about 3 classes online, trying to expand my vocabulary. I started using apps like Hello Talk. It helped. So it really helped me to lay the foundation of Mandarin before I started physical classes sometime in 2021. Yeah, I started from HSK 2 because HSK 1 would have just wasted my time because I already knew more than I needed to. And then I said cultural immersion. I started reading about the culture. I was writing about the culture. I started following Chinese people on Twitter, in as much as it's not used in China, but they find a way through VPN to use it. I started using my WeChat app, which is majorly for Chinese people to communicate, just like as we have WhatsApp. And what else? I did a lot of things basically. I did competitions for the Confucius Institute at Chinela here, just like trying basically to see their point of view, understand what they do, because you can't learn a language without actually immersing yourself in that language. I don't think it's possible. Then post COVID-19, I started getting jobs. I worked at a Chinese firm, construction company, actually for like 2 years plus. Then I left last year, December 2023, because I was in my final year and I needed to focus. But then after that, I've been getting freelancing gigs. Like yesterday, I still had one. It was about company registration. It was impromptu because I just go back and someone is calling me, oh, I have a client, I need this. I had to rush there. I started tutoring people freelance, 9 to 11 today. So I had to take a kid on Mandarin. She's in level 2. So, that is how it all began. My humble beginning. Okay. Building skills and gaining essential experience for a career in translation. Essential skills for a career in translation, you need to learn language proficiency. It's the foundation because you need to understand the grammar points, the tonations, the vocabulary, idioms, because when I was translating yesterday, let me give you an instance. So the Chinese said something in Mandarin, right? In Chinese, the Chinese person, and then he laughed after he said it. So I had to translate it in English, and obviously they laughed. Imagine if you're saying something and you laughed as you said it, and then you translate it, and it doesn't bear the same meaning that the person intended it to, and then the room is just like dead drop silence. You get that means you've not achieved that language proficiency, which is quite important to pass across what you want to, right? Then cultural understanding, you should understand the culture because, so there's this thing about Chinese people, especially when they're having meetings, they like to go to a restaurant. That's where they discuss everything. You should know their mode of eating, they like to drink also. So they're saying gambe, it's cheers in Mandarin, right? You need to know how they do things to say and things not to say during the whole process. Attention to detail, especially if you're dealing with documents, legal documents, right? You need to be very succinct because words, for example, let me use the word for. The word for is "se" in Mandarin, right? But then to say somebody died, it is "se." So you need to be very careful, especially when you are writing, because you might just type "se" and different types of "se" characters are coming out. So you need to actually pay attention to what you're doing, what you're typing, to avoid errors that will cost your client a lot. So research skills, again, sorry, I referenced yesterday because it's something that was very recent. So we're talking about company registration. And we mentioned things like business permits. We're talking about permanent residence permits. We're talking about CAC registration. We're talking about websites, location and everything. And you need to know the words in this particular area because when I was working in a construction firm, I needed to learn words in that particular area because honestly, I wouldn't lie to you, even speaking English, there are some words that they use at the bank and you're like, okay, let me use law. So there's something called garnishing when you're serving papers to banks because of your client, right? And then if I say that nobody would understand it, it's because I am an expert in that area. So you need to always be on your toes and be researching. Okay, so my client is into, let's say, the film industry. I need to learn words that actually are needed in this industry. I remember sometime in 2023, the beginning, I was going to make my nails. I was going for manicure with this Chinese girl. And then I was with my phone learning, okay, how do I say I want red to paint my nails in red? How do I say, that one is not fine. I'll prefer the other one. How do I say I want to do the square shaped nails you get? So you have to do that to be on top of your game. Then good communication skills. Do I really need to explain this? But here, it matters because strong communication skills ensure that everyone understands the translation process and results. Because if you're an on-site translator, as they are saying it, you need to be conveying the same message exactly as it is. You do not want to leave anything left out. You want it to mean the same thing that he or she said. So you need to be very careful with your communication skills. Make it succinct, make it concise, but yet meaningful. Then self-study and competition, one of my favorites. Learning processes. You can't learn everything in class. You have to do your personal work. So there are sites, YouTube, YouTube helps a lot. There are apps, there are too many things you can do to self-study. So what I do is, even my level 4 right now, because I'm self-studying, I read books, I'm on Coursera, I'm on YouTube trying to find new words, niche in these places. What can I do to actually be better at this? So you also need to balance it with your other commitments. And then do you know how to make it even better? So I'm talking to the students right now. So you're in class, let's say you're having mathematics. You think, oh, how do I say mathematics in Chinese? And then you write that. That's how you learn. Like every day, just learning new words step by step, it really helps you to actually build a lot of vocabulary. I'm watching TV. How do I say I want to watch TV? I want to eat bread. How do I say I want to eat bread? So this is how you actually learn. And there's a huge significance in learning language because you never know where they can take you. When I started and it was really shaking my head, then I see Chinese people on the road. I walk up, I say hi, and then I start speaking. And then that's one of the ways I actually got my job. So you never can tell. And once people, citizens of a particular country, expatriates in Nigeria, realize that this person can speak my language, they see you as their brother and sister, and Chinese people are fond of that. They will hold you tight. Oh, this person understands my language. This person went through the whole stress of learning my language. Oh my goodness, they are very fond of saying this thing like you are smart because you're very good. Once they hear you say two sentences, they're like, oh, the like it means your Chinese is very good and all these things. So, I think that's it. Moving on. Career opportunities in translation. Where can translation actually take you? Let's see. Let's find out. International organizations. Permit me to ask, has any of you heard about United Nations, African Union, World Health Organization? Please reply in the chat box before I carry on. I'm waiting. Yes, okay. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, Adizia and Salome not okay. Yes, 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 thank you. So most times in these organizations they use these machines that help translate at the moment, more of it, right? But when we're talking about documents, because if you use Google Translate, because I use it a lot, the meaning might actually not be transferred from the target language from the source language to the target language. So that's why they get people to actually proofread these things and help. So you can end up becoming a diplomatic translator, at conferences, you are there, standby. Have you watched some of this? Okay, let me use Rihanna because I think that you will understand that. So there's a time Rihanna had a show and then she had this ASL, American Sign Language, interpreter to help interpret it to her deaf fans. So just imagine you doing something like that. Let's say Rihanna has a speech to give in China, and then they contact you. for the United Nations, and then they contact you, and so you go and do that. So it really helps. Yes, thank you. So these are one of the places, one of the things translation can actually help you to do. And then that's especially if you want to work in international relations, you want to become an ambassador, high commissioner, something like that. I think you should actually be looking at being bilingual, if not even bilingual, multilingual, polyglot. I mean, that's the aim of every language learner. So there's business and trade. We are in Nigeria, right? I mean, let's talk about our immediate society before we talk about in a globalized world, interconnected world outside there, right? We need translators. I mean, Chinese expatriates come into Nigeria and they need people to translate for them. They want to buy a house. They need a Nigerian to help them because some of them don't speak English. And if they speak English, it's not very good English. So they reach out to you. They want to clear their goods with customs. They reach out to you. So you can help them and be an in-house translator for them. Their business administrator and translator. And there's actually good money with that. So far you know how to bargaining power, and you don't take shit. So you can also be a marketing content translator. They're trying to reach their preferred audience, and they have this material from China that they're trying to translate to English, and they reach out to you. I mean, there's so many ways to make money with this thing because even currently, so I'm interning at a law firm, but on weekends I have gigs that I do for these Chinese people. So never can know. Moving on. Legal and government services. Does anybody here remember this Chinese man that killed his girlfriend? I think she said she didn't want to marry him or something along that line. Please let me know in the comment section. Does anybody remember that case? Okay, thank you. You said yes. No, you did not. Okay, so yes, in the north. So let me just tell those that know. So there was this Chinese expatriate somewhere in Nigeria, like she said, in the north, and he had a girlfriend, and he was always spending money on her. And then she says she doesn't want to marry him again, and so he goes ahead to kill her. So during the court process, so they couldn't lay hands on any translator to help the case, right? Because according to the constitution, there's supposed to be a translator. Even the Evidence Act. I think the Evidence Act, one of them do. You're supposed to have a translator if you do not understand the language spoken. There's someone that will interpret it to you in the language you understand. So you could be a legal translator, even talking about business also. So when they're done with the documents, like the meeting I had yesterday, when he's sending his fees, talking about you need to do this, you need to sign here, I'll have to read it and I'll have to translate it into Mandarin that they understand because my boss does not understand English. Yeah, you could also be a court interpreter. I mean, well, I wouldn't go that far, but you can if you want to. So, media and entertainment. The entertainment industry needs translators for movies, TV series, video games, books. Someone reached out to me on Twitter to help translate her book to Mandarin. I mean, it's never went through, but I'm just giving you an insight. Like these things actually happen. Even subtitle translators, exactly. Let's say you're studying Korean. And so on Coursera does this thing. So they reach out to people to help them actually translate to another language if you can. So you see, another job opportunity. And there's a site also that for games, no, it's crypto. Yes, crypto, translating the English to Mandarin and Mandarin to English. So if you're big on crypto also, that would have been a very great source of income for you. Tourism and hospitality, you could be a tour guide interpreter, when they come also, we're going to this hotel, let's say Sheraton Hotel, you tell them this, you take them sightseeing, explaining things to them, and it really helps, boost revenue for your country and your pocket also. Think about it. Just think about it. So we have freelancing and entrepreneurship. Many translators work as freelancers. I do not think working in-house helps you in building the language, vocabulary, grammar. You're talking to Chinese expatriates every day. But you know, sometimes the working conditions may or may not be good. So I rather just freelance in one of them. So, you know, with time, once you reach a certain level, because I started translating with HSK3, I mean, I already had a little more vocabulary because I was watching movies and everything. So it helps you choose the clients you want and everything. You can be a tutor like I am also. You're teaching both kids and adults online, you know, in person, anyone that you choose, a language consultant. So you never can tell where it takes you, honestly. Translation opens doors to meaningful careers, from diplomacy to media. There are countless ways to make an impact with language skills. You just have to put yourself out there, be it on your social media, on your WhatsApp, on your LinkedIn. Never can tell. People are seeing these things and they're taking notes, and never can tell what happens tomorrow. Okay, blessings and advice for aspiring bilinguals. Okay, what I have learned on my journey. Patience and practice. It takes a lot of patience because I started out, my pronunciation was terrible in class. You know, you're trying to make sentence, and then the head is where the tail is, and the tail is when the head is. You know, just forming very funny sentences. So you have to take time, devote an hour, five. I know it's easier said than done because consistency and self-discipline, right? But really take your time, immerse yourself in it. Nobody is rushing you anyway. I mean, how old are you? You're like 15, 16. You still have a whole lot of years ahead of you. So don't rush. Every new word and phrase build your skill. So let's say today now you've learned that konnichiwa is hello in Japanese. You've learned that guten Morgen is good morning in German language. That's a step. You've learned something new. You know, just don't forget it and always revise. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice, practice, practice. Um, Immerse yourself in the culture. So language is more than words. It's about understanding these people, their thought process, their culture. Why is it that they like to drink tea every day? So I notice this thing about with Chinese people, they always have this big bottle where there's always hot water and green tea. So you try to understand like why did they do this? You know, it really helps you to become almost like them because you can never be one of them because you are not them, but it helps. And I really encourage cultural activities, you know, reading books, attending festivities, watching their movies. I'm big on it, cooking dishes. I promise you, there's no Chinese dish I've come across that I've not tried in my own little way to cook. You know, sometimes it comes out good, sometimes it's a thought that counts, if for effort. You know, language learning is actually very fun. Honestly, it's something I don't want to trade for anything. Okay, stay curious and be open to new challenges. Don't be afraid. Making errors is a normal thing. I mean, you speak English, so earlier, let me take it back to something. Besides, I wrote here what I have learned on my journey. I could have written what I have learned on my journey, you know. So we still make mistakes anyways. So don't worry, it happens. You know, just make sure you try and improve your words, the grammar points, vocabulary, communicate. See, there's no how you are learning a language and you do not have somebody you're actually talking with to help you in the language exchange. It's not possible. I think you're just wasting your time. Just find another partner, be it a Chinese or a Nigerian or anybody, but you have to communicate. Okay. So seek out opportunities to practice. Yes, connect with others who speak the language. Conversation is key. I love having conversations. So some law students reached out to me. They're still in school because you know I speak the language and everything. And they started learning, and then they're asking me questions in my DM. How do I say this? Is my sentence structure correct? And trust me, I've always answered. Once it's Mandarin, I am sacked. So moving on, it's a lifelong journey. It's continuous. I promise you that in as much as you speak English every day, you cannot tell me that you know all the English words there are in the dictionary. It's not possible. As you're going to you're learning new things, and that's how it is for a language that you're even just commencing. You should be willing to learn more. It takes time, but you will eventually get there. So language opens doors you may not see now. Every word you learn builds a bridge to a new opportunity. Rome was You will get there. It might take 7 years. Let me know, like, let's be real. It might take 7 years. It might take 6 years. But it's a process that matters. You get. Let's just leave it at that. And always remind yourself why you started, because there are times I actually wanted to give up, and I'm like, no, I started this because I have an end goal. I will do it. I can go a day, I can go a week without learning, but it's on my mind. I have to do this, and then I open my door in, and I'm watching videos. I'm like, okay, still counts on learning. So there's a Chinese proverb. My closing thoughts: to learn a language is to have one more window from which to look at the world. You would bear with me that once you start learning something, let's say a new topic, you're reading a new topic. In biology, let me see, it's been a while. Let's say in biology, you're learning about the digestive system. You start looking at your body at a different way. So this is what happens when I actually put food in my mouth, that it goes down to the esophagus or something like that, right? So it helps you see things from a new perspective. Honestly, I started learning Mandarin, and here I am. I'm always following Mandarin. I'm always following Chinese politics. Okay, Xi Jinping said what today? Okay, he's meeting with the Russian president today. Okay, he met with the Vietnam president like a month ago, that kind of thing. You to keep you on your toes to learn other things. To learn a language. Okay, sorry, I think I just did that. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Pardon me. So another closing thought: keep exploring language. It is a journey that opens doors to new cultures, friends, opportunities, cultures, friends, opportunities, cultures, friends, opportunities, opportunities. I believe that if I actually start talking about the opportunities, friends, and culture, we might not actually end this photo off. Well, I'm pretty sure the message has been passed across. Language isn't just words, it's a bridge that connects people, builds empathy, and creates understanding. You remember this, I think the Tower of Babel, where they started speaking different languages, about 50 different languages, right? So imagine if you were there and you understood everything. It will help you to actually have built understanding, because they had to abandon the project because they didn't understand each other. So if you were there and let's say somebody was already speaking Mandarin and you understood Mandarin, you get, at least that's a plus. You both could have done something, even though it might not have been much, but something tangible, right? Um, Another thing, start small. Honestly, a word, a phrase, a conversation can make a difference. You're starting today, oh ni hao, hello. Tomorrow you're saying, ni jinten zameyang. Next week you're saying, wahenle, I'm tired. Work has been so busy. Don't worry, man. The other day you're saying, I had mathematics class last week. Then in a month, you're saying things like, oh, I'm going to the market because I want to buy food. Yeah, so it's bit by bit, brick by brick. Sorry, please hold on. Okay. So stay connected. My contact information, you can find me on WhatsApp, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on X, on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere basically. Willing, if you find me on X, just know that X it's social media and it's my space. You see Mandarin, you see other things, but Mandarin is what you are there for. So just let's leave it at that. I look forward to connecting with you all. In case of anything you need to go further in this, you can reach out to me. I can guide you. But you can only take the horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water. So you need to put in the effort, but I'll be there to guide you all the way. Don't worry. I got you. Okay. The floor is open for questions and discussions. So you can suggestions when I want to ask, how do I get started with a new language? Resources for young learners, tips for parents, what do I need to do? How long do I need to set out a day for this? I'm eager to hear your questions and provide feasible solutions for you. Thank you for this. So questions, please.
Yeah, thank you, Frances. I'm going to, if that's okay, Salome, I'm just going to coordinate the question and answer session because, like I shared with you, I want to say a few things. First of all, thank you, Frances Mary, for just this very incredible presentation. I love that you kept it very simple, very relatable. And I loved especially when you spoke about what you can actually do with translation. I love that you're a lawyer with with a whole other part to you. We often talk in JuCE about how it's not, you don't have to define yourself by one thing. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I made this. Oh, I made that. Today, Frances is a lawyer who also is um a Mandarin speaker and who is a translator and who has many doors open to her. In fact, I'm pretty sure one thing she will find at some point is that doors will be open to her even in the legal space with Mandarin, right? That's one thing that is certain to happen. So really, it's really exciting to hear from you. First of all, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Nkemjika, please, the students at the JuCE Hub Enugu, please, if they have any questions, I know they joined a bit late, but if they have any questions, please, they can type it in the chat. Students at Dansol Hostel, if you have any questions as well, please feel free to drop it in the chat and we will respond to it. And then one thing I'm going to mention is that actually we were planning to have a language boot camp by next year, August. So when students are on a long holiday. And Frances, I'm announcing slash asking you slash putting you on the spot to ask that you please, be part of this boot camp. Of course, Salome and I will be in contact to really talk about a planet. But like you said, getting started, building that interest, building that, how do I say, building the initial interest, and the initial fire. We would be looking at Mandarin and potentially another language that is not French, because we know that we have French taught in secondary schools, and we please let Frances's presentation also be some ginger to take French seriously in school. I know when I was in school, most people were just faffing with French. I don't need it now. What's my business? It's not this, this, this. Even Yoruba, even Igbo, even any language, like she said, a language is a window through, another window through which to see the world. And making connections, it's important. So that's something to look forward to. Students at JuCE Center at Enugu and students at Dansol College, we in due time will be rolling out the forms so that you can fill in if you're interested and you participate in the language boot camp that we would have for a few days in August. It's during your long holidays, and I've spoken a lot about how we can do many other things outside of summer lessons during the summertime, during summer school, So yeah, so that's that. I think there is a question for you, Frances, in the chat. And what is the role of tools like Google Translate for translators like you? And it's from Dansol Hostel. That's a really insightful question. Thanks for that. Please, Frances, could you go ahead?
Okay, roles like tools like Google Translate for translators, it really helps. Like I mentioned earlier, I do use it because you're giving me documents to translate, and Sometimes I wouldn't sit down and be looking at everything word for word. But it does make mistakes. It does make mistakes. Even sometimes it asks for inputs from you, or did I translate it correctly? It's a very good thing because obviously we're looking for things to aid our work. I mean, that's why AI is there to help you with things you are doing, certain things you are doing, writing emails, your proposals and everything. But then you can't rely on it 100% because in the end, it's man-made, and in as much as it's efficient, it won't pass across the message you want to pass across. Because now, let me tell you something. So you can open your Google Translate and type, "How old are you?" Question mark. It will bring out things like "Nipodala." So that is for textbook. So that's a textbook written type of "How are you?" But what you say essentially is "Nijiswe." So do you get? So I didn't mention this, but there are two types of Mandarin. There's the written Mandarin, and then there's actually the spoken one. So Google Translate most times will give you the written Chinese, depends on what you are doing. So you have to read it again and go through it and find out if it's correct. But if you don't know what you are doing and you don't know these things, there will be errors. So you have to be careful when using them. They're actually very good. I wouldn't even lie. I make use of them. So you can see that.
Thank you, Frances. And yeah, and I really like that answer. And I think just to even piggyback on that, um, AI or any AI tool is not independent of humans.
Yeah.
AI is actually it's called artificial intelligence because we teach it what we wanted to learn and it gives us back what we need. So, and that means that the extent to which whoever has programmed this or whoever has taught the AI, that's the extent to which it can give. But like Frances said, there are things, even as if you can learn English and you come to Nigeria and you realize that Nigerian English is another English. Context in Nigeria, like we say and it's like, and we say it's everything. And that's the point of it. Google Translate, AI, all of that, Bumble, Duolingo, sorry, not Bumble, my bad. There's this Babel. Babbel, Duolingo, they will never get the same context as a human who interacts in the language, and that's why, like she said, practicing with someone is important because if you even when you learn it textbook wise, when you come and start talking to someone, they'll be like, oh yeah, but we don't really say that. When I was learning French, I had a lot of that. They will be like, yeah, but we don't really talk like that. This is how we talk. So that's amazing. There's another question for you about where to find Chinese people to practice with, and by extension, maybe if they're not learning Chinese, if they're learning German, if they're learning Russian, as someone has said, where can people find because in Nigeria, yes, we have a few Chinese people here and there, but in terms of building an international friendship group, like you've talked about the friendships, where can people find that, please?
Okay, so I will start with, for me, it wasn't actually hard because my neighbors were Chinese growing up. And apparently, everywhere I go, I happen to see Chinese people. It just really happened. I don't know. But then there are online apps you could use. There's Hello Talk. I used Hello Talk. You just have to set your source language, that's the language you speak. So in this case, I presume it's English. And then your target language, if it's Russian, like somebody said, or Spanish. And then you'll be able to have conversations with these people on the apps. People can even have language exchange. It's called language exchange, where you have calls, audio calls or video calls to speak, right? So both of you actually teach each other. And then there's Preply, like there are so many apps on Twitter also. So there's this community, language learning community on Twitter for polyglots and everything. I am on the Mandarin aspect of it. So you get to meet these people also. You can there's an hashtag on Twitter for it. Hashtag I can't remember it, but there's a hashtag for language learners, and you can always meet anybody there. I have some friends I met from Twitter there. You can also try and use their social apps. For Chinese people, it's WeChat, Weixin, if you're into that. So you meet people there and then you have conversations with them. But I highly recommend Hello Talk. I recommend it 100. It was really helpful for me when I started. Hello Talk, just check it out.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
That's really insightful. Um and yeah, I think we say this a lot, and I hope I don't sound like a broken record saying it. But really, social media is exciting. You can get lost, and I say this even for myself. You know, you can get lost going down the rabbit hole, just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling and laughing, ha 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 ha, or you can also get lost in it, using it for valuable things and using it for things that can change your life, you know. Um, literally, even like even like following someone on social media, maybe who is a Russian influencer, or following French. There was a time I used to literally follow French social media, basically French people who post on social media and they're speaking French, and the comments are in French, the interactions are in French, and that way you're already learning, like, you know, French expressions and how they do things and mannerisms and all of that, you know. So that's a way of, yes, you're still doom scrolling on social media, you're still just scrolling, but now you're using it as an opportunity to learn something else, to learn a language. So, and I've also put in the chat the specific things that she mentioned. Hello Talk, Preply, WeChat, that's Chinese social media, and she's just dropped the tag as well. Langtwit, if you want to get into language Twitter, right? So I'm going to actually investigate some of this because I'm trying to learn Dutch at the moment. So yeah, so thanks for that. I don't know if there's any other question. If there is any other question, we can take it. If not, we can wrap up for today. But if there's any other question, please feel free to then drop it in the chat. But yeah, in case there's no other question, then I'll just say thank you so much, Frances. Um, yeah, your story is very motivating, and I think why I really love it is that, you know, you're mostly a self-taught learner, you know, and that's the thing in life, right? Like that place of driving yourself and pushing yourself, and you know, even if there's no, you know, many times, especially with our Nigerian educational system, we drive and we push when we know there will be a pat on the back and A1, 50 A1s, oh, you're a smart child, how wonderful, go, you know, well done. But one thing JuCE keeps trying to emphasize is that what happens outside of the classroom, you know, what effort are you putting in? How are you building yourself? How are you expanding your world? The mission of JuCE is to bring exposure, you know, and that's what you've done for yourself, exposed yourself to a whole new culture, you know, to a whole new people. And even outside of those Chinese people, I bet that there are just people who find you so interesting because you speak another language, and now you're friends with like a ton of other people. So the parents listening to this, I saw you had a tip for them, you know, but yeah, parents listening to this, please use this as an opportunity to really support your kids. I say this a lot and I might really sound like a broken record, but during the 3 months holiday, please, let's, as a Nigerian community, come out of that. You throw them into summer lesson, they're coming from school for 3 months, you throw them again into school for 3 months. Let's, as a society, start to support our kids to build exposure and life outside of academics. Academics are wonderful, they're perfect, they're important, you know, but as much as academics are important, you know, languages are important, music important, art important, programming, just learning to write simple lines of code can potentially literally solve so many issues in the world, even in your community in Nigeria. So as parents, please let's get in this habit. And when we launch for the boot camp in August next year, well, it will take place in August, but we will launch it ahead of time. Please make use of this incredible opportunity Frances, we definitely will have her on the team, and you can see she's great vibes, and you will learn easily. It's not going to be like in school. Okay, this, it's fun, it's easy, and she'll make it fun for you. So yeah, so that's that for today. Salome, I don't know if you have the program for next week. If you have it up, you can share. Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, Frances, if you could like maybe close out a few words in Mandarin, even if none of us will understand you, but it's okay.
OK，大家好，谢谢你们，我很高兴认识你们。这是我第一次跟很多人说话，就是我有点儿怕。那现在我不怕，我放心，我已经放心了，所以没事。So thank you everyone for having me. Before I was here, I was quite scared. I'm translating what I said, sorry. I was quite scared, but when I started, I mean, I was at ease. So thank you so much. I hope you learned something, a thing or two. It might not make sense to you now, but when you are older, you will see these things because a lot of things we do now we don't understand till we get older. But you don't have to get there. Please just start something. It doesn't even have to be Mandarin. What do you have interest in? You like to make hair? Please go ahead and learn it. You never can tell. You really cannot tell. So just learn something new outside from your schoolwork because the times are changing, and may the force be with you. Just lead a happy life, a healthy life, and be good.
Thank you. Thank you, Frances. I love your energy. I would definitely be in touch with you more for JuCE stuff because you're preaching the language that we love to hear in JuCE, and that it's incredible. So yeah, thank you so much. For next week, Salome, if you could quickly share the screen for our upcoming events. Sorry, not next week, upper week in no, on November 26th, if I'm not mistaken, we are taking it back a bit to the more traditional world of sciences. However, a bit of difference because we have two people who will be speaking to you about chemistry, right? Having a career in chemistry. So it's not being a doctor, it's not being I don't know what other professions there are in the science world, it's or what other traditional professions. It's about being what it means to have a career in chemistry. What does that mean? If you enjoy chemistry in school and you're thinking, I'm not sure I want to be a doctor, but what can I do if I enjoy chemistry in school? Well, doctor in view, because both PhDs in view, Omofolawe and Dr. Caleb, they will be here telling you about how they've built a career in chemistry and what that means, what type of career you can have in chemistry. So even if you're not interested in chemistry, but you're interested in general in other things you can do in the sciences, this is a perfect opportunity to come listen to them. And one thing about I always say it's even if you think, oh, I'm not interested in this or that, there are a few life lessons that you always learn from anyone who is doing something interesting and exciting. So please show up, share with your friends, share with parents who are here. Please share with other parents, the work that we're trying to do at JuCE. Even if you don't know how to really explain what we're doing to them, send them the link, let them join a few sessions, they see and they get interested, Salome, the last slide, which is, yeah. So, and of course, where to connect with us, we're on IG, we're on X, we're on Facebook, and we are on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, you can see recordings of what we've done. And on the rest of our sites, you can connect with us, ask us questions. If you specifically really liked someone who has spoken, and you want to connect with them, ask them more questions one-on-one, or even ask them to be your mentor. And what's a mentor? It's someone you can ask questions about your career. It's like, I'm not really sure. It can be on anything, but we provide career mentorship. So it's like, I think I want to, study this, but I'm not sure because X, Y, Z. Do you need that step-by-step guidance from someone who has done something similar to you? We offer that, and you can connect with us on any of our social media, but of course, send us an email if you prefer that. But I think for the younger people, it's probably social media, and we will be there to listen and to speak to you and to continue the conversation. So thanks everyone for joining and for coming here. It's been a really lovely session. Thank you, Frances, for the incredible insights. I'm deeply motivated myself to just keep going with my Dutch, which I learn every 3-4 weeks, is any day my spirit leads. But it's nice to, get this type of motivation from you and to see the doors, just knowing a second language is opening for you. Yeah, and we will continue this conversation in 2 weeks' time. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Salome, for the incredible work in hosting from the beginning. And thanks students from Dansol who are here. Thanks to other parents who are here. Frances says to please hold on. Okay, thanks to parents who are here and thanks to the students who are here. I hope this was of great benefit to you. Of course, please, you can speak. I hope this was of great benefit to you. And yeah, I'm going to hand back to Frances to say something. Please unmute. I'm asking you to unmute. Ask to unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just thought I had a direct message from Tega. She said, what apps should I use to help with my languages? I don't know. I think I answered it earlier, but okay, I didn't. Duolingo, you can try Duolingo. It really helps. I really can't say for other languages, but for Chinese, you have Do. Do helps you to reading characters, right? Then we have scripts to help recognize Chinese characters. Duolingo. What other app did I use? You can try Coursera also. You can take classes there. What other? I didn't use Udemy, but I'm using Udemy for French, so you can check that out also. Yeah, so I think these are the apps that I used. You can always find out more once you start, but those are the ones. I'm so sorry. I just saw the message now. Tega, I hope that helps.
Yeah. Frances, if it's okay, I was able to note Duolingo and Coursera because I know the spellings, but I don't know the spellings for Duo. Well, Duo, I don't know if Duo was still Duolingo and Script.
No, no,
So if
no,
you
it's
could
not.
please
So Do is DU.
DU.
Do Chinese, that's the name. DU
Okay.
Chinese.
Okay.
Then
And
there's
Script,
yes.
like literally how we spell script normally. Okay.
So that's it.
Okay, perfect. So that it's in the chat. A student from Dansol, or I guess a teacher, is asking what are the details for joining the Zoom meeting. We always share the link. It's actually the same link. So this link you have today, in 2 weeks' time at 11 a.m., just click on it. It's always the same link. We also are in touch with your guidance counselors, Mr. Sam and Mrs. Tonia, and also the proprietor of Dansol. We send the link to them every week, but we send it usually on Thursdays, but we've agreed with them we'll send it from Monday. So if you have the link you've used to join today, please just click on it in 2 weeks' time. And if not, we will be in touch. Salome is usually in touch sending the link, so you have that as well. And to every other person who is here, the message is the same. The link with which you've joined today, please click on it in 2 weeks' time, 11 a.m. to 12:30. And we'll be here with something new, something exciting, and something, something beneficial. Yeah, and thanks again, Frances, for that. Thanks, Tega, for being here and for asking interesting questions, and every other person who is here, actually. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and and I hope you're motivated slash challenged to start learning a language today, or to intensify the one you were learning. Maybe the French you're already learning in school, why don't you, buckle down and get that? But yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.